A trip to the 26 Bar Ranch in eastern Arizona. My name is William T. Brooks. I was born in Phoenix, Arizona in 1931. But most people just call me Chili Bill. They'd call me Chili Bill because back in the 1960s, I won the Universal Chili Society World Championship. But my real claim to fame is the fact that I was John Wayne's personal pilot, the Duke. Back in the time when I was flying the Duke, it would be many times when he just didn't have the money to pay for the trips. Now remember, Duke was a very generous man, and he would just give away his money, even though he was making millions in the movie business. Now, he would say something like, Bill, I'm a little short on cash. Is there anything you want? And I would say, well, all right, I would rather have the money, but how about one of those guns you got hanging up there on your wall? And he'd say, well, I have 4 or 5 of those, so go ahead, take one of them. So I would take one. Now, many times he would say, well, what else do you want? And I'd say, well, I'd sure like some of those bib shirts that you used to wear in the films. And he'd say, well, I've got dozens of them. Let me give you a couple of them. And so that's how I ended up with a lot of this things of Duke's that I now have here in the museum. Well, the first thing I'm going to show you here now is Duke's parade saddle. Now, I'm told that he rode this in the Rose Bowl parade, and then every year in Eager, Springerville, 2 little towns out in the middle of nowhere in eastern Arizona, he would be the Grand Marshal of the parade over there. And here's these 2 little dinky towns, and John Wayne riding as the Grand Marshal. You guys remember the film Rio Bravo?
Well, watch him. I'm going after Duke.
You get on with him. I would.
Well, here's Stumpy's shotgun. And right down below it is Stumpy's jug. Now we move on over here, and you'll see one of Duke's hats back here. And then, remember the film True Grit, when he says, "Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!" And he spins his rifle, and then they charge each other, and all the shooting starts. That's it. Now, over here, you'll see his Republic cap that, you know, all the actors in those days of whatever company they were working for would always put on their cap, and it says Republic. Then down just below that is Duke on a fishing trip to Central America. A lot of people don't know that Duke owned an island down off the coast of Panama. This picture here of Duke with the 2 sailfish that he was so proud of. And if you'll notice, he's got on shorts, and all the women that come in, they say, my goodness, he's got good-looking legs. Any woman would be proud to have those legs. Then, if you look right up here, you'll see one of Duke's pistols. And on the butt of the pistol, you'll see JW branded in it. Then right over from that, you'll see John Wayne cartridge box. Now, you know you've really made it when they put your picture and your name on a cartridge box. But these were the cartridges for this commemorative rifle that is right over here. And you can see right here where it says John Wayne Commemorative. And this was given to him by the Winchester Company or Corporation. Right up, you've got a deputy show badge of his, and you have the gold medal that was given to him by the Congress of the United States. Now, Maureen O'Hara and Elizabeth Taylor went before the Congress and got this gold medal for him because up till that time, there was only a handful of non-military type people or presidents that had one of these. Duke became one of them. Next to that is a pair of Duke's chaps, or in Spanish, chapaderos, and they looked pretty good size, but they only hit him about where his calves were at, because he was such a tall man. Now, right next to that is a rieta. Now, rieta is a Mexican rope, and it's braided from rawhide. Now, next to that is a statue that was given to him by the Hopi Indian tribe because of all the good things that he did for the Native Americans. When the movie companies would move in, Duke always shared all the money with them and really got them out of some bad straits. Next to that is one of his bullwhips. Now, this is a long bullwhip. This one's 12 foot long, quite a bit longer than the ones that you normally see. Then next to that, you're going to see one of Duke's hats. Now, this hat, I am told, is the one that was worn in The Cowboys. Now, The Cowboys, of course, was a very sad movie because poor old Duke got killed off in the end of it. And he would put on different hat bands, you know, for different movies. You can see how worn it is right there in front where he used to grab the hat. Well, that's it. You've all heard about Red River. Well, Red River was a big film for the Duke. And here's the buckle, Red River D. Now, next to that is a very special pistol. This pistol was one of 4 pistols that were used in the film The Shootist. Now, The Shootist was his last film. In those days, the pistols were supplied by one of Duke's friends had started a company, and his friend's name was Audie Murphy. Does anybody remember Audie Murphy? He was the most decorated hero in the Second World War. Well, when they came back from the war, they found out that Colt Arms had quit making the Peacemaker. So they all wondered where they were going to be able to get the Frontier-styled pistols to be used in the films. Well, Audie Murphy went to Spain and Italy and had them made up there, and then he shipped them back to the United States. And so most of the pistols that you saw in the 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe even the 80s, were by his company, which was called Great Western Firearms. So that's the pistol. One of the pistols out of the Shootist. There was 4 of them. Duke owned them all. Now, 2 of them are in the Western Hall of Fame in Oklahoma, but here's one of them right here. Now, here's a picture that Duke gave me years ago, 1947. I was 16 years old, and I was an extra in the old movie, The Angel and the Bad Man. Down in the corner, you can see where it says, "Thanks, Bill," and then he signed it, Duke. Now, he gave, not just to me, he gave these to all the cast and crew. We were just young kids, and that's how we made our money in the summer. We went north to get into the movies. Right down here, you'll see Duke's favorite drink, and that is called Salsa Commemorativa Tequila. And it's a very special tequila in that it's the best one that Salsa makes. In those old days, it cost $28 a bottle. I wouldn't even want to think what it would cost today. Then you'll look down here and you'll see this Civil War pistol. This was one of his prized possessions because it's a real Civil War pistol. 1851 was when that was made. And then up here you'll see a pair of Duke's boots. Now, Duke had very small feet for as large a man as he was. Remember, he was 6'4", and if he wore 2-inch heels, he was 6'6", and he only wore a 10.5 D boot. So what they used to do, they'd put size 12s on him, then they would stuff the toes of the boots with toilet paper so that his feet would match the rest of his body in the films. Then down below those, you'll see a picture of two of Duke's young children. Ethan, and I think that's Arisa in the middle, and then his secretary and sweetheart for the last 7 years of his life, Pat Stacy. Then of course there's Duke, and then there's old Chili Bill right there. I was picking him up, and this picture was taken in the backyard of his house there in Newport Beach. We was picking him up to take him over to the ranch. As we move on around here on this side, you'll see Ward Bond's shotgun. If you'll remember, Ward Bond was in a lot of his movies, and one of his best friends, and this is Ward Bond's shotgun. Down here are a bunch of his branding irons. Then over here you'll see the clacker board. You can read on here where it says The Shootist. The director was Siegel. This was scene 1, take 1 in 1976. Of course, up here above it is the saddle from The Shootist. Now, if you look closely, right underneath there you'll see where it says J.B. Books. Well, J.B. Books was the part that the Duke played in this film of his, which was the last of his films. And one other thing here, when we finish this little tour, is the fact that if you look over on this wall, well, I got a call from a famous artist in London, England, and his name was Graham Liggett. And he said that he wanted to do a picture of John Wayne in Monument Valley, but he had never been to the United States, and he wondered if I could send him some pictures of Monument Valley. So I did. A few months later, this picture arrived at my house from London, England, and I opened it up, and lo and behold, it was a beautiful picture of John Wayne in Monument Valley, standing with his horse between what is called the mittens. But in the picture also was Chili Bill on his horse. So here we had John Wayne on Old Dollar and Chili Bill on his horse, Silver. So that's the story of Duke and me and how this collection came to be. All the people at the 26 Bar Ranch hope to see you soon. Adios.